Hi, I'm Claire Harris. I'm the curator for the Asian collections here at the Pitt Rivers Museum, which is one of the museums of the University of Oxford. I'm also an academic at the university and I teach in visual, material and museum anthropology at the School of Anthropology.
Hi, my name is Arkatong Lokkumar and I'm senior lecturer in Modern Asia at the University of Edinburgh. I'm here at the Pitt Rivers Museum to launch my project, which has been funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council, and it's a 4-year project called Decolonising the Museum, the Gaidinliu collection. Gaidinliu was a 16-year-old Naga prophetess who was imprisoned by the British in 1932. And when she was caught and imprisoned, they confiscated all of her material kind of objects in her possession, including her clothes and everything. And part of the project is to try and kind of examine the collection and think about digitally repatriating them to the communities in India.
Today I'm going to introduce you to the objects from the collections of the Pitt Rivers Museum that belonged to or are associated with Rani Gaidinliu. They arrived in the museum in the 1930s and some more in the 1950s and have not been on display since then, but carefully stored in the museum's stores. We're looking at these objects today in the research area of the museum, which is an area where researchers from all over the world come to look at material from the museum's collections. With Gaidinliu that were collected by James P. Mills, the Deputy Commissioner for the Naga Hills District in the 1930s. This dark blue woman's body cloth is made from 2 panels of woven indigo-dyed cotton with thin orange warp stripes. It has 2 fringes of faded red-dyed goat hair tassels, bound with yellow orchid stem. Lines of red and white cross-stitch and stars have been embroidered at both ends of the cloth. This cloth belonged to Gaidinliu and was collected by J.P. Mills at Cambiron village in February 1932. This white and red cloth is usually worn around the waist by young women. The fabric is made of 2 panels of woven white cotton with a red band along each edge. At either end, a complex pattern in red and black has been worked in, and an elaborate fringe of tasseled yellow orchid stem and coloured braids has been attached at the top and the bottom. That had been used to dress 2 clay figures representing a god and a goddess that were displayed in the Gaidinliu temple at Cambiron. When British officers arrived at the temple, they believed that the figures bore, I quote, a strong resemblance to Gaidinliu and Gaidinliu. They destroyed the figures, but the fabrics that had been dressed in were collected by J.C. Higgins, a member of the Kachar Road Column, along with J.P. Mills, in February and March 1931. So here you can see 3 of the textiles associated with the female figure, the goddess figure at the Gaidinliu temple. First is a white cotton machine-printed fabric with floral patterns in a black dye along the border and at either end. The cloth has been stamped by the maker. This was the shoulder cloth used to dress the clay figure of the goddess at the temple at Gaidinliu in Cambiron village. Then we're going to look at a narrow cloth of white woven cotton with ends ornamented with a pattern in red and black wools and yellow cotton, and a fringe of tasselled yellow orchid stem and red twisted cotton. This was the waistcloth used to dress the clay figure of the goddess at the temple at Gaidinliu in Cambiron village. Final thing we're looking at in this group is a lower body cloth made of 6 narrow panels of woven cotton stitched together. The centre consists of broad black and narrower white stripes, the sides of brick red and white stripes. Both sides and both ends are ornamented with small patterns in red and black wools and yellow cotton. This was the lower body cloth used to dress the figure of a goddess in the temple of Gaidinliu in Cambiron village. These are some of Gaidinliu's body ornaments. First, we're looking at a pair of brass ornaments in a spiral shape with enlarged conical ends, decorated with dotted scroll patterns. These two ornaments may have been made in Manipur. They belonged to Gaidinliu. They were acquired by Sir Charles Pawsey, who was a colonial officer in Kohima in the 1930s and 1940s, but we do not know how he got them. This is a wooden stick with the upper section of a monkey skull attached to it, said to have been used as protection against enemies and evil spirits. The stick has been carved so that one side is roughly flattened and one end is shaped into a bulbous point. There are faint markings in black along the flattened edge, as we're showing you now. The monkey skull has been tied to the middle of the stick with plant fibre, to which a small piece of ginger is also attached. Objects of this sort are usually placed outside a village on a spirit fence. According to J.P. Mills, however, this object was fixed over Gaidinliu's bed in her hiding place outside the village of Hungrum. Mills reported that he found it a few minutes after she'd escaped on the 17th of March 1932. Small war clubs, said to be used to take omens. This is a set that would have been hung together with an egg placed underneath it and used to identify an enemy in warfare. Each piece of wood has a handle shape at one end and the body is flared. There appears to be a core of another organic material that may have been inserted into each piece of wood. According to J.P. Mills, who acquired the objects, this set has been, and I quote, used by the Nagas of Hungrum before they attacked a post of the 3rd Assam Rifles, end quote, in March 1932. With a lid of woven plant fibre. The base and the lid of this basket both have strips of cane crossed over to strengthen them. The top of the lid shows some signs of discoloration at one end, but the interior of the basket is very clean and in excellent condition. This basket contained the 12 notebooks that belonged to Gaidinliu and in which she wrote her prophetic inscriptions. Regular basket belonging to Gaidinliu. The notebooks contain writings, characters and designs said to be untranslatable. The British officer J.P. Mills said that these notebooks gave Gaidinliu, I quote, literary powers and allowed her to communicate with her followers. The notebooks, the first 10 of them, are filled with all kinds of inscription in pencil and pen. They're printed with ruled lines like school exercise books, as you can see. Sometimes the names of the brands of companies who made the notebooks are printed on the front. So we have the Swan brand, and we have the Swaraj brand, and Ganendra Christo Nag are clearly visible on the front of the books. The covers are also illustrated with images of leading figures in Indian politics, including, as you can see, this one, Mahatma Gandhi. One of the notebooks only has one portion of the original cover, as you can see here, and that's green and stitched onto the notebook with string. There is Bengali script on that green part of the cover. Some of these notebooks can also be traced to the original sellers in Old China Bazaar Street in Calcutta. Two of the notebooks in this group here are not actually printed exercise books like the others. One is a small hardback notebook with a red cover, and the edges of it its pages have been painted in red, green and yellow. Only about 5 pages inside this little book have been covered in writing. Then we have a large rectangular notebook filled with writing. Now you can see the writing and some of the diagrams inside the book. Some of the cover has peeled away to reveal a pink stamp effect pattern on the inside of it. It's got black stitching to hold the book together and has clearly been hand stitched in that way. Thank you for watching. We hope this short film will be beneficial in starting your conversations, and we really welcome your responses.